All right, guys, today I want to talk about head movement. All right, head movement's very important in striking, so you don't get hit in the head, obvious, right? But I think that a lot of people do it wrong, or at least they train it wrong, right? And I want to show a drill today that I think will force people to really develop their head movement, okay? Now, before I show the drill, I kind of want to talk about head movement, all right? A lot of people, they lean too far, when they're slipping punches, and that's dangerous. You never want your shoulder to go over your knee, because in any direction, you're off balance, right? And being off balance, if you get hit by something that's not hard, you can get knocked down and it can be scored as a knockdown, right? So you guys always want to remember just enough to get out of the way, right? And if you're weaving, it's the same thing here. A lot of people, when they weave, they look down. You don't want to do that, right? Just remember, your shoulders never go over your knees. You can just keep it simple, right? This is what I learned from a boxing coach. Everyone learns different. But just like in wrestling, you have to have a good stance before you can shoot on someone. In boxing, you need to have a good stance before you can throw solid punches. And even for kickboxing, you have to adapt it a little bit, but you can still, here, move. But you see too many people, it's just, you're gonna get caught by someone who's really good and knows what they're doing. So just remember, guys, just slip enough to get out of the way. I'm not off balance. I can counter from either one of these positions. Now, that being said, the drill I want to show you guys, I call it the wall drill. So I'll kind of show it. You want to get in your fighting stance against the wall, right? Now what this does is this forces, if he's gonna, let's say he throws a jab across at me, it forces me to just move. Because what happens when you do head movement drills out here is, I don't need to move my head. He can't hit me. And that's what a lot of guys do. They back up and they're back here doing this, but it's bad training because they're not in any danger. I do not need to move my head if Ivan's right there. Right? I can sit there and still do the drill, but that's what I see, and I get on a lot of my students about that. So with this drill, and you gotta have a preset combination. Can't freestyle this, you're gonna get hit. But say, like today we were working jab crosses, so I'll go here, boom, boom, right? And just have them here. Boom, boom. Keep my hands up, keeping it simple, right? If I come off the wall, I always tell people that's push-ups. It's just, I don't wanna do this in any direction, right? So again, I'm here, out, boom, right? Simple. But what this forces you to do is it forces you to learn how to move your head and forces you to move your head the right way. Because if I get off balance here, you can see it and you can feel it. See, he's pushing me when I got 100 pounds on him, and that shouldn't happen. If I slip that jab the right way and he tries to push me like that, right? Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. But now I slip that jab too much, and that's huge. You don't have balance, you can't strike effectively, and you can't really even grapple effectively if we're getting into the MMA aspect of it. Now, there are certain things that each person needs to do in this drill. For the person getting hit against the wall, you need to stare at their chest, right? Because everything comes from there. A lot of people stare at the hands, which is the worst thing you could do, or you stare at their eyes. No, you're not looking into their eyes. I'm looking at Ivan's chest, right? So whenever I don't know when he's gonna throw it, right? And sometimes you miss and you get hit. But if your hands are up, you're getting hit in the glove, right? Now, the person on his end, I'll switch it up. What happens a lot of time with this drill is when you get comfortable with it, I'm only gonna have to move a second. These guys punch here and they punch here. He's in no danger. I can throw as hard as I want. He's in no danger because people punch away. I don't want you to knock your partner out doing this drill where as he is staring at my chest, I'm staring at the tip of his nose, and that's my target. So I'm going here, okay? All right, another thing in this position, don't get into a predictable rhythm. Don't go jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross, because then no one fights in a steady rhythm like that. If you have an opponent who's fighting back, rhythms are never steady. They're always broken, right? Your rhythm is steady, but he'll break it when they do it, right? So you can come in like this, jab, cross, throw some feints at him, boom, here, jab, all right? And it's just, if you guys want to add hooks to it, it's the same thing. If I throw a hook, he just ducks under enough. You guys can kind of do a lot of things. Uppercuts are a little trickier, and you have to kind of slip out to the side on those. A little bit harder to show. I'll probably show those in another video. But this is how I develop my head movement and the head movement of my students. It's just doing this drill. Do it for a round, right? It's exhausting me even just punching the air, right? I'm aiming at the tip of Ivan's nose, looking for the jab cross. Good. Good. See, he's got his rhythm going, but you notice how he's staying on the wall, right? And he's never really in a bad position, right? So the wall drill is something that can really develop your head movement. I've used it for years for my head movement. And then when you get out here, you couple that with footwork and you're able to move around, it makes you a lot harder to hit than it normally would. So the reason I prefer this drill done on the wall is because guys cheat out here. I don't have to move my head out here. This is what guys do. I'm not in any danger. I don't have to move my head at all because he's 4 or 5 feet away. So I would really get good doing it on the wall. And you're gonna get hit, but they shouldn't be throwing too hard, and then come out on the mat and mix it with footwork. You're gonna make yourself very difficult to hit, and it's gonna elevate your defensive boxing game. So add the wall drill into your arsenal.